promise that we were going to say how much YouTube has paid me in my lifetime.
And Give us the details.
This is just for my content. I've been making content since 2014. I think I have 35 million views in total. Some of that might be shorts views now because they kind of mix all that together, which upsets me, but it's okay. So total, YouTube has paid me for my channel
Welcome back to the Cypress Room, where we dive deep into influencing with integrity. I'm Meggie Honeycutt.
And I'm Christina Mascari.
And today we have a fun episode for you. I know that a lot of people are always so curious about the behind the scenes of YouTube. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to dive deep into being a YouTube content creator.
We're only going to talk YouTube today, you guys.
Spill all the details.
Yeah, we have, like, every time we talk about making money on your content and making content, we always talk about Instagram and TikTok and Facebook and blogging and all the things in Facebook. But today, I just want to talk about my baby, my first love, YouTube, and why I think it's still really important to just invest basically all your time. Like, if you want to be a content creator, my advice is, like, put all your time into YouTube and then tackle the other things.
Yes. And even if you are not interested in being a YouTube content creator, stay tuned, because I know you're curious about how much money you can make, and we're going to share
exactly
all the details.
How much YouTube has paid me.
So stay tuned.
Since 2014.
Yes. And then also stay tuned, because at the end of the episode, we have a fun new segment where we talk about all about our favorite things this week. So we both have some fun items to share with you.
Fall fashion. So if you are looking for some fall fashion, stick around for our favorite things. And I want to sing it, but Meggie doesn't. Our favorite things. So I'll just sing it.
I feel like we should do like Julie Andrews. These are a few of our favorite things.
I love that song.
I know, me too.
And you know, my kids love it. And I'm like, how do you even know this song? I don't think I've watched Sound of Music with you. I think they sang it in music class or something, but it's such a good song.
It is such a good song that, you know, it's still to this day a trending topic on YouTube. I did the research for our last episode.
And that popped up? Did it pop up like Julie Andrews?
No, just the lyrics to the song.
That is cool. Timeless. I love things that are timeless, because here in the Cypress Room, we're all about like timeless and evergreen. That's where our name comes from. If you guys didn't watch the first episode, Cypress Room is a play on words of things that are evergreen. And that's what we want this podcast to be for you guys.
Yes. And it's one of the things that makes YouTube such a great platform.
Look at your segue.
Is that everything you create for YouTube can be evergreen.
Yeah. So this episode is really stemming from, I teach a class at a DIY conference. I've taught it for 3 years. So this like topic and the subject is really ingrained in my brain and teaching it. And we already have this content, and it's, you know, I get really positive feedback from the class. So we're going to be sharing some of those insights with you today that I share in that class when I speak on YouTube. I also have done this at a high school a couple of times at my high school, because I have a dear friend who teaches at the high school that I went to, at Brentwood High School, and she teaches marketing. So she's let me come speak to her students a couple of times, and it's so much fun. It's what I actually enjoy speaking to them, I think, more than any of my other speaking opportunities, because the world is like their oyster. Like they could do anything. They could go anywhere. They could be like those TikTok creators on Alabama Rush that we were talking about, and, you know, make a YouTube channel in high school with your parents' permission, and possibly pay for your college and graduate debt free, and, you know, have all these skills and editing skills and things that you can take into the workforce one day. I think it's really cool.
I think the younger generation gets it. They all want to be creators.
I think they do. But I think most people, I might be being biased on this just because I'm such an OG ride or die YouTube person. I think that creating short form content, don't get me wrong, it can be very lengthy as well. It is not a quick process. But I'm just going to be honest, it is still quicker than having to do a long format video and really like script that out and really think of like, how do I keep somebody engaged for 10 to 20 minutes? It's a different type of storytelling. It's a different type of filming. It's much slower. It's much more in depth. It's much more instructional. Or it has to be super, super entertaining to keep people watching.
Yes.
So I just am here to educate you today on YouTube, what it takes to have a YouTube channel, why I think you should be doing it. So I'm probably going to be talking a lot. Meggie's going to try to chug the conversation along and interrupt me if I'm getting a little bit too long-winded. But I have had a YouTube channel since 2014. I have been creating content full-time since 2019. And in those first couple of years, I was making a video every week. So it was probably close to around 50, 45 videos for those first couple of years. The past couple of years, I have definitely slowed down and have taken some more time now that I have built it up to where it is that I can take some time off. I can be a mom, be a wife, be present, but still create content at the same time. So that is something that you need to know about YouTube, is that it is going to take a big initial investment that you're not going to see a return on. And we are currently living in that season in the Cypress Room. So we're going to talk about that a little bit later in the podcast. But let me just tell you the reasons why I think YouTube is so powerful. And these are the opening remarks that I always share in my class, is that YouTube is the second search engine behind Google. And it has been for quite a time. The younger generation, Gen Z, is searching a lot on TikTok for things and how to do things, but I don't really think you can teach somebody how to do something in a minute to 3 minutes, especially change a toilet or people are searching on TikTok how to change a light bulb. God bless this generation.
I honestly think the AI in YouTube is better, in my opinion, when you're searching. I feel like you get better results.
You get better results than you
But
do on
is
TikTok.
that me being a biased older person?
Probably.
I just don't use the same language or something.
So if you think about it in your everyday life, most people are going to go to Google to search for things. That's the first place they're going to go. But if you're looking for an instructional video of what's the best way to paint a wall with a roller? How do I change a light fixture? How do I clean my microwave? How do I get the smoke smell out of my microwave? All these little things that we might not know how to do, but I'm surely I can do this myself. People go to YouTube and search that stuff. And so for me particularly, because I do something that is very hands-on, and it's how do I paint a piece of furniture? People Google, how do I paint a piece of furniture? And Google has served up and YouTube has served up my videos. And that is how I got to where I am. It was a searchable topic and people found it. And I guess I had good content, and so they watched it. So that is the power of YouTube, is that it is a search engine. People go there to find things. They're going there to find your content. I think when I go to TikTok or Instagram, I'm going to be entertained, first off.
I was going to say that's the difference.
And then I learn things along the way. But when it comes to YouTube, and if you think about Pinterest, people are specifically searching how to do things. So if you're a how-to content creator, it is really the place to be. It's also Google owned. So the thing that is awesome about YouTube being owned by Google is that Google, because it's the first place people are going to go to search how to do something, they will serve up your videos because they want people going to their platform to learn how to do things. TikToks and Instagram Reels are starting to show up in, Google searches, but not as prevalent. Google's always going to push their content first. So that is another powerful thing. And, Google is a very well-off company. They've been doing things really well for a long time. I think we kind of all know Meta, that it's not really the best.
Yeah.
TikTok has kind of had issues back and forth of, will it be banned? Will it not be banned, since it's owned by another country? And it seems like it might have some biases. We've seen the whole fiasco. That's the dumpster fire that's going on with Twitter, or formerly known as Twitter, now X. So the thing about YouTube is that it's just always been really stable because it's owned by Google, and Google has been really stable. So not throwing shade at any other companies. We're all doing the best that we can. But in my opinion, for someone who's been doing this for a while, YouTube and Google are just stable to me, and they know how to make money.
Yes. And to me, when you put content up on YouTube, the shelf life is so much longer. If you have good SEO, good keywords, you have content from 3 and 4 years ago that still performs. And there's not another platform that you can say that. And that's a benefit not only to you as the creator if your desire is to earn income, but also if you're entering into brand partnerships for them to be attached to a video that has a shelf life of years is a huge benefit as well. And I think a big advantage of putting content up on YouTube and creating content for it.
Yeah. And so people always ask me, like, I don't understand. How do you make money off of YouTube? And YouTube runs ads during videos, and then they split that money with the creator once you are in their partner program. And to get into their partner program, you have to have 1,000 subscribers. You have to have 4,000 public watch hours. And we're going to talk about how kind of hard it is to get to 4,000 public watch hours. My channel got monetized very quickly behind the scenes without me even knowing. And I didn't realize like how hard it is to actually get monetized when you're starting from zero. We'll talk about that in a minute. And then you have to have the 4,000 public watch hours in 12 months, or you have to have 10 million shorts views in 90 days, which I have found is very, very challenging.
That's difficult. Yeah.
I don't know a lot of people who have been monetized that way, but I'm sure there are tons of people who have been monetized that way. And so why this is so important to get into the YouTube partner program is that in 2022, YouTube earned $29.2 billion from advertising.
Wow.
That's a lot of money.
That is a lot of money.
And they basically split that in half with the creators. So they paid out in 2022, $15 billion to creators. There's no other platform doing that.
No.
I think Twitter's trying to figure out how to do that. But as a person who is on the other platforms, TikTok and Instagram are not making that much money because they can't run those long format ads that people are used to seeing during long format content. So I think they're making money in other ways. They're shopping and all sorts of things, but they have not figured out the juggernaut that YouTube is. So YouTube just has more money to pay creators for their content.
And we're talking, is this, I'm asking because I'm really not sure myself. This is for long form content we're talking about, correct?
This
not
is
short form?
Well, since it's from 2022 and the source here is socialmediatoday.com, I'm assuming because they didn't even, they started doing that program like that year. So maybe there was some paid out to creators, but as a person who does shorts and long format content, my CPM on my long format content, which is how much YouTube gets paid for running ads during my content, for every 1,000 views, YouTube gets paid $25 from advertisers. And my CPM for 1,000 views on my shorts is like $3 maybe.
Oh, okay.
So there's a huge difference.
Wow.
Because again, I'm splitting that with YouTube. So if they make $25, I get half of that. If they're making $3 off my shorts, I'm getting $1.50 every time I have 1,000 views, which, you know, is a huge, huge difference between those two.
Okay. So for somebody out there who is interested in YouTube and maybe they're thinking long form, short form, like where is the cutoff to where it becomes a long form versus short form? Is there a minute threshold?
Well, shorts right now on YouTube, you can't upload. They can't be longer than a minute. And they have not changed that. And then the difference between short form content and long form content is that your long form content, I know people do this differently, but the best performing long format content is horizontal and it's not going to be vertical.
Right.
Like the shorts. And I've seen people put square up. I don't understand why they're doing that. And I will say Miley Cyrus, who just released that brand new song, which is fabulous. If you have not listened to it, Used to Be Young.
I haven't.
Oh my gosh, Meggie, it's so good. It has 30 million views right now. And I noticed the other day when I was watching it, it is square. And I'm like thinking like, I wonder why they did that. There has to be a reason why they have it square. And I know square performs better on Facebook and things like that. So I kind of have a hunch that it has something to do with being able to put it on short form vertical, that it would crop better if you film it in square.
Okay.
So and it's still performed on long format on YouTube, but it's square, which is so bizarre because I've never seen that before. I'm sure there's other videos out there, but I've never seen it.
So a long form video, longer than a minute, filmed horizontal.
Yeah. And for long format content, you want it to be, you guys might see my dog popping up in the shot today. We're the only people in the house and I have a golden doodle. And if you have a doodle, you know that they have to be like at your feet. So this is the only way to get him to behave, is being in the studio with us. So you might see his tail flopping around if you're watching on YouTube. So with a long format video, the longer it is, the more ads they can run during it. And so my opinion as a long format content creator is that you want your video to be over 8 minutes.
Okay.
Because if your video is over 8 minutes, you can have a mid-roll ad. And so that's going to double your income that you can make on that video, because they're going to run one before it, and then they'll be able to run one in the middle of the video. And it's just going to help you make more money that way. And so I think maybe YouTube, I have anything to back this up, but I think they might favor videos that are a little bit longer because they can put more ads in them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So our podcast should be doing real well.
It should be. Again, keep staying tuned, because we're going to dive into the logistics of starting a brand new channel, which is kind of fun about the podcast because it's helping us see what the climate's like and how hard it is to get monetized. So I got monetized fairly quickly on YouTube before I ever went full time on YouTube. Yeah. So it made it easier for me to go full time, because I knew if I put a video up and it got views, I could make money off of it. So if you're starting from scratch and you're not in that YouTube partner program yet, I can see how it would be hard to like put that long format video up, but you have to do it to get to the point to get monetized and to get to the point where you can have that passive income like you were talking about.
Right. And so for somebody out there who is having success with short form on TikTok and Instagram, and they're thinking about dipping their toes into YouTube, what would be your recommendation for them for how they should alter the way they're doing things? I mean, because if somebody's only filming in vertical, just doing short form, how do they make that shift?
It's a shift, and it's going to be hard. And this is what I tell people in my class, because the majority of the people that take my class at Haven are short form content creators, but they're doing these beautiful projects, you guys. Some of these people basically like panel their whole home and like put their own cabinets in, and like they just do amazing work. And I say, it hurts my soul that you only have vertical footage of this. And I'm like, if you are in a pinch and you do not have a lot of money to, buy a camera, like just switch your phone back and forth. You have it on a tripod, just switch it back and forth and take content of both. When you're done with the project, separate horizontal over here, separate vertical over here. And even if you don't touch that horizontal, at least you have it. And a year later, you can still make a video on it. People aren't going to know you did that project a year ago. Or even if they do, who cares? You have more, like, at least film it horizontal. But I told everybody, like, save yourself the headache. What I do is I film both ways. I film all my vertical content with my phone, because my phone has a great camera. It has 4K. And I just invested and bought a camera. You can buy a great camera for about $500 or $700. That's going to work great for YouTube, and just put that investment in, because it's going to save you a lot of headache of just filming at the same time. And if anything, if you don't even think, I can't start a YouTube channel right now, I don't have the time. If you are doing projects, if you are making content, just invest in saving that horizontal footage, so that if you do choose to use it one day, or if you get to a point where you can hire an editor one day, at least you have the footage.
Yeah.
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 And that's what I was telling so many, because there's so many brilliant creators out there that are just not doing that, capturing that horizontal. And it hurts my heart, because they have some beautiful projects that people should be seeing, that people could learn from.
Yeah, absolutely. It's hard for me to, I guess I've just watched you for so many years that I'm a little biased to wrap my head around somebody doing such an involved project and then only getting a 60-second reel or TikTok or two out of it.
But I understand it, because the way that things have gone, like when I started making YouTube, it was like, if you were making video, that's where you were. They didn't even have stories on Instagram at that point, which is like, it just blows my mind.
And it's really not that long ago.
So, and I just, I take photos of my stuff. I tried my hardest to learn photography, but I've always just been better at capturing things in video. I grew up in drama, so I'm just about the delivery. I was in public relations. So for me, it was a lot easier just to do the video and show you the real aspects. And this is me getting my hands dirty. And I wasn't so great at the picture perfect, like have this beautiful feed. So my Instagram never took off until video started taking over. Right. And so I had this beautiful position where like I had been doing video for so long, and I could transfer it into this vertical format. But don't get me wrong, it took me a long time, because I was like, I'm not going to do both. Like, that's so much work. Oh my gosh, I am not going to do that. I'm just going to stay over here on YouTube. And I'm glad that something inside of me was like, no, like you can't ignore this. It's not going away. And now it's like prevalent on 4 different platforms. So I just had to learn like, okay, this is where I have to like not be stubborn. I have to get my head out of the sand. I got to try something new and I got to start. And it was rough goings. Let me just tell you, my first shorts or reels or whatever you want to call them, they are hideous. Like I dare you to go to my TikTok and look at some of my first TikToks. It looks like grandma tried to like, the transitions is terrible. It's terrible. But like I learned a little bit every time I did it. And if I wouldn't have transitioned and done all that video content, I wouldn't have been able to be successful on those other platforms. So I get it when someone is a short form content creator and they're like, how do I transition to this long format? It's not going to be easy. It's definitely going to be different. It's going to be a different set of skills. But again, like it just hurts my heart that they're not capturing that content. And there's a whole nother audience on YouTube that they could be. And honest, they could be teaching people how to do the same thing, which is like, you know, the whole thing that we're doing here is like your knowledge is so important and your encouragement is so important, and people can get that and actually learn how to do things by watching long form content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I can imagine though, it is a hard switch to make
It
when
is a
you're
hard
already
switch.
having success in one area.
Yeah. But it's an investment because like we have been talking to you, like YouTube has all this money that they're paying out to creators. And that is a huge chunk that you're not getting if you're a short form content creator. We've talked about this before. There's lots of brand partnerships, opportunities for that short content. But with YouTube, I double dip. I'm getting both. I'm able to do brand partnerships and then I'm constantly making money off of my content. And so I'm just going to go over numbers. I'm going to be vulnerable. It's so cringy, Meggie. I still hate talking about money, but I think it's just important. It's not, hey, I'm doing it. Look at how much money I'm making. Cause you know, Mr. Beast is making way more money than me. And there's lots of YouTubers. There's lots of DIY YouTubers that make so much more money than me. But I think it's just important to see what you can make passively from one piece of content.
Yes.
So I just have my top earning content in front of me from 2022 and my number one video. So this was last year, I think. Wait, I have 2023 too. I'm going to switch that. I'm going to look at both of these. I'm going to just do this year and then I'll go over last year. So for 2023, my top performing video so far this year has made $3,300. And that piece of content I made in 2020, in September of 2020.
Yeah.
So I did that project. It took me a week to do the project, a week to film it, a week to edit it. It was a sponsored post.
Yes, it was.
And I put that up and I was like, great, I'm going to make this chunk of sponsored money off of this. So this is worth making this video. And that video just resonated. It's a furniture painting for beginners. It's a very easy DIY paint where you just have to clean and you paint on and with a roller. And I think anybody can do it. And so it has just resonated with people. It has, I think it either has 2 million or 3 million views. I think it's 2 million. I think it just hit 2 million. And so for 1 week's worth of work back in 2020, so far this year, I have made $3,300 off of it. To me, that's like super powerful.
Yes, it is. And it's for those who are now trudging through the time investment with the zero return. This is why. This is why you do the time investment in the beginning. It's why you, as Katie Scott says, you just have to persevere.
Right.
Because this is why. And this is also a testament to why you should post consistently too, because not every video gets these kind of results, but you can't get one with these results if you're only posting once a month, once every 2 months, very sporadically.
And where I'm at right now, my views are only averaging about $15,000 to maybe $25,000. That would be nice. 15 to 25,000 views. And so for those videos, I'm only making about $150 to like $250 on those videos. But I'm still putting out videos because I know that if something resonates with people, like I've seen it. I've seen the testimony that this video I made, 2 million people watched. And if I can get I never know which video is going to be the next 2 million.
No.
And for me, the trap that I've been falling in recently is furniture flipping has worked so well for me for so long. And everything was like niche down, niche down, niche down. Well, I've been niched down for 4 years, and there just comes a time, channels can be really cyclical. The average lifespan of a YouTube channel is 5 years. So I'm coming up on that. And so I have been trying different things this year. And my top 3 performing video of this year was why I'm done selling furniture, where I talked about how I no longer sell my furniture to make money off of it, that I donate it because all the money I make is mostly off of my content. And I find more joy in educating people on how to create content than actually selling my furniture. Is my least favorite part of my job. And so I was just honest and vulnerable with my audience and was like, guys, I don't sell my furniture anymore. I know some of you watch me because you're selling furniture and I've encouraged you to do that, but I'm just being honest and I'm pulling back the curtain. I don't do it anymore because this is how I make my money. And I went through the whole story of how Pretty Distressed got created, which we've shared a lot of that here. In that video, I just sat in front of this microphone because we were learning how to use these microphones. I'm like, Meggie, I'm going to test this out before we start the podcast. It was like dark, poorly lit. I was like, I just want to get this out. Filmed it in a couple of hours on a Friday night, edited it up really quick, ended up putting it on a Sunday morning. And that video's made $2,000 this year.
That's
and
great.
It's just me sitting there talking about like, here's my life. Here's my story. Here's how am a content creator. And it took me probably total like 5 hours and I've made $2,000 on that. You can't, that doesn't happen. That opportunity is not available on Instagram and TikTok right now. No. It is if there's a brand partnership behind it, but there's so much pressure when you're doing a brand partnership about saying things right. You have to turn it in. People have like creative control over it. You have to get an approval. You have to make changes if they don't like it. So the power of YouTube, being able to sit down and just say whatever I want and be able to throw it up on my channel and possibly make money on it. As an entrepreneur, it just gets me like super fired up. You just never know.
You don't know, but you don't know unless you take the chance and you keep being consistent, showing up, putting out the content.
And you have to be okay with the ones that fail. Like there are videos that I put my heart and soul to. I do the editing. I'm like, this is so great. This is my favorite video. And it gets 15,000 views and I make $100 on it.
Well, and I think it's also a testament to the fact that you can't stress yourself out trying to beat an algorithm or figure out the perfect video that's going to go viral, the perfect keywords. You just have to be smart, put in the work, produce high quality content on a consistent basis. And eventually you will see the fruit of your work. And we're preaching to ourselves here.
Preaching to ourselves.
On the Cypress Room Podcast because we're in the middle of that right now.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about that. But again, I'm just going to drive home. Again, this is not bragging, but I'm going to drive home the money thing because I have my estimated, my top earning content from 2022. So I can see like a whole year picture of last year of what I earned. And that same video that I told you was #1 so far this year was #1 last year. And last year it brought in $10,000.
Yeah.
For work that I did in 2020. My second video on that list is how to make money flipping furniture, which I don't do anymore, but it was still knowledge that I had at the time. And that one resonates with people because again, it's a very beginner friendly. If you're wanting to get in wet, like here's how you do, like get your feet wet. Here's how you flip furniture. And then here's how you post it on Marketplace. And here's how I used to price out my furniture when I was starting out. And that video last year made $5,600.
Wow.
And it was a video that I made 2 years ago. My next one was one I actually made that year and it brought in $4,500. Then I had using a paint sprayer for beginners. My beginner videos do really well. But I try to keep recreating them and it just doesn't always work, guys. Just because you put beginner in it doesn't mean that it's going to go, but we try. And that one brought in $4,000. And that was a video from the previous year as well. And then my last one was 10 inspiring furniture flips. And that brought in around $4,000. And that was a compilation video. So that's a video where I take 10 different projects and I put it in one long video, shrink down the projects a little bit. So repurposing content, making $4,000 off of it. So out of my top 5 videos for 2022, only 2 of them were made that year. And one of them was a compilation video.
I mean, I just think that's so cool.
I have to keep looking at this to encourage myself of like, why am I doing this YouTube? And this is the reason right here.
Yes.
It's passive
income
on content that I created, on work that I did, that like I could literally take, and I do. I take a month off in July, and YouTube still cuts me a check because I still make money in that month, because I have a library of over like 200 videos, I think, that I'm still earning money on, even if it's like $1 or what. Every little bit is something.
Absolutely. And this should be an encouragement for anyone out there that just feels burnout to persevere, because you could get one of these hero videos and it could hit, and you could be 3 years from now still earning money on that one video. So keep going. If you're discouraged about your earnings on YouTube, if you're already a creator there, because it is worth it to persevere. And I think as a business owner, it's so smart to diversify your income streams and have that passive income in the background. So,
well, and I'm pulling up my phone because I have a little testimony.
Oh yeah.
Of a person who came to my class last year, and then she came back this year and shared her testimony with me, and she shared it on Instagram. So I want to share it with y'all, because she's just a regular person like y'all. That's, or maybe not, like if you're trying to be a content creator, this is someone who's in your boat. She has, 100,000 followers on Instagram. So she's doing great on Instagram.
Yeah.
Probably has had opportunities for brand partnerships and everything. But I'm just going to read this. Her name is at Lena B. Taylor, and we'll put her information down in the description box. I'm just going to read this word for word. Picture this. 1 year ago, I was seated at the back of the YouTube class at the Haven conference. I didn't have an audience, and I only had 2 videos, which were honestly pretty bad. I had put them up right before the conference just so I could claim that I have a YouTube channel. Little did I know that everything was about to change. Leaving that class, I was determined to go all in on YouTube. 1 year later, I find myself back at the same conference, but this time with over 50,000 incredible subscribers and actually getting paid by YouTube for my content.
So awesome.
So it's possible.
It is possible.
I know YouTube is really crowded, and, I had the benefit of when I started, there were not a lot of people doing what I was doing on YouTube. So I think I had an easier road. Now there are like thousands of people who have furniture flipping channels. But I was just one of the first, and I think I got lucky at that. But you could be the first at whatever you want to do.
Yes.
Or you still have a unique position. I have seen people still come up in the ranks that are making successful furniture flipping videos when it's a very saturated market at this point. So you don't know.
You don't
know if you don't try.
But it is more important now, I think, to know the value that you bring, know what makes you unique, what is your unique perspective and gifting and angle of whatever it is you're doing, and to present that to the world, not try to be a carbon copy of anyone else out there, because I think the people who do well they are fully themselves. They have a unique thing that they do, a way that they approach situations, talent for storytelling, really high quality video content, whatever it is. I mean, it could be anything really, but to have a good perspective on what that is for you and to bring it out in your videos.
And I think too, the thing that you can really focus on when you do YouTube is doing Google searches for trending topics, using the research tool on YouTube to see what people are searching for, and really putting some thought into making that in your videos. I have to be honest, I'm not a person that ever did that. And I probably still don't do it today, but I think I'm going to have to start doing that more often. And the thing that inspired me about that is Sean Cannell.
Yes.
My mentor that I have never met in
Sean
person,
Cannell.
that doesn't even know me, is part of Think Media. And he posted the most fascinating reel the other day that I just played for you. I was like, we have to talk about this in the podcast. So he has a separate channel just called Sean Cannell that he used to post on. He hasn't posted on it in 3 years. The last time he uploaded a video to that channel was in 2020. And he just earned a silver play button for that channel, which means he got 100,000 subscribers. So in the past 3 years, he has not posted. That channel has continued to grow. That channel has continued to get views and make money and bring in ad revenue. And he hasn't posted in 3 years.
That's wild.
Passive income, because he put so much attention into ranking his videos. I know he has a specific video about athletic greens that he has sold not only has he made money off of that video, but I think he sold like $10,000 to $30,000 worth of affiliate funds off of just doing a review off of some athletic greens. So the opportunity is there, but it's like, you can't just think, oh, I'm going to put up one video and get monetized. And let's talk about that, because we are in that season right now.
We are in that season right now of persevering, of putting in the investment of time and waiting to see the return on the investment. That's where we're at. We're starting this podcast channel. We started from zero, and we're just committing to dig our heels in and keep creating content for it and putting it up in the hopes that it will give us a return.
Yeah. And you guys can see, you can look at the subscriber count right now as of today when we're filming this video. Hopefully it's higher when you guys watch, because we pre-film. But it's probably, I think it's sitting at 532 subscribers, which thank you if you hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much. If you're here and you're watching this and we're like, yeah, I love what you guys are saying, and you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Because that tells YouTube that you like this content. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up when you watch our stuff. If you are engaged in this content, comment below, because not only do we want to know you guys, but all that stuff tells YouTube that like, hey, this content is valuable and we're going to share it with more people.
Absolutely.
So we're sitting at 532 subscribers. We have, in the past couple of months, we have lost our first subscribers, and that was a hard hit for Meggie. She's like, oh my gosh, we just put this episode out. It was the Alabama Rush Talk. And we lost 2 subscribers. She's like, we lost 2 subscribers today. I'm like, well, they weren't our people. If they don't want to sit around and talk about Alabama Rush Talk and OOTDs, they just weren't our people. And that's okay. They're moving on. It's fine. So you've experienced some of that.
Yes.
It's been really great. We've only had like a couple of negative comments.
Yes.
I think we've only deleted 1 comment because we don't put up with people who are just flat out rude or inappropriate. So we've only had to remove 1, which I think is great.
That is great.
I think that's good. So, and we've I'm not going to say that. No, I'm not going to say that. We have brought in, how many watch hours have we earned? I think we're at like 1,400.
Yeah, we're just about to hit the 1,500 mark.
Okay, so we are chugging along. We're not close to being monetized, but we see some of the fruit hanging. So we just keep showing up and doing this thing because we enjoy it.
Yes.
We feel called to it.
Yes.
We feel very ill-equipped sometimes and don't understand why we're doing it. But we just, in our life, we've talked about this a lot, our faith is very important to us. And it's just something that God put on our heart. And not only did he put it on our heart to do this, but he had other people in our lives that didn't know we were doing this or didn't know we were planning it. And they kind of spoke life over it and just basically like read our mail and said, hey, like God's going to do this thing with you guys. And so we've had so much confirmation. Like we just know that it's him that is pushing us forward in this. So that's the thing that keeps us going right now, I think, in this season, because this is taking a lot of time and we have not made 1 dime yet on this podcast. And we actually, we kind of owe ourselves our money at this point. So even when we do make money, we have to pay ourselves back on investments that we've made on equipment and things like that. So it's not easy. Like we're not going to sit here and be like, this is so easy, because we are right in the thick of it with you guys right now. And I almost think it's like a blessing from God that we're in the thick of it right now, because we can really relate to the amount of work and time and commitment and blood and sweat and tears and frustration and anxiety and like depression when we put something out and it doesn't do well or it doesn't resonate with people. We're like, shoot, we thought that was really good. So
yeah. And I can speak to the fact that, if you're out there and you're intimidated about editing long form videos, I had never edited a long form video. I'd only ever done little reels and stuff before this. And YouTube helped me learn long form video editing. And if I can do it, I swear anyone can do it, because I am not a super tech savvy person. And, it's been a big learning curve for me. And I'm getting better at it, but I just want to encourage anyone out there who's intimidated by that piece of it, that it is possible. And there's lots of resources out there, specifically on YouTube, to teach you how to do it.
Yeah.
So
And that's how I learned. And I'm glad that I learned that way too. And that I'm here to encourage you when you're having a hard time, because would you like to tell the story of your like first major defeat that you had in editing?
Which one? Where I lost my entire hard drive? Oh, yes. Oh, you guys, I had edited, I think, between 3 and 4 videos at that time. And I did invest in a new computer for the podcast and to edit videos. And between that 3rd and 4th one, I had backed up all of my video content on a hard drive, and the hard drive got corrupted, and I lost every single piece of everything I had ever done. And it was very defeating, and I had a weekend of breakdowns over it, but I persevered.
It's going to happen. And I told her we haven't lost audio or video yet on like a recording that we've done.
Right.
But it'll come. One time we forgot to turn on the recorder.
Yeah.
And we lost like 20 minutes of what we recorded. We were like, man, it was so good. And we're like, it's okay. It's okay. We're just going to turn it back on and we're going to just try to do it again.
Yeah.
So you will have major things that you will come up against, and you just have to push through. I've lost videos before that I just had to completely start over with.
Yes.
So
I think to be successful on YouTube, you really do have to have the mindset of just pushing through, perseverance, like how we always talk about pressing through. That's what YouTube is all about. But if you can do that, there is reward on the other side eventually. But I want to kind of transition and tell us, like, when you're doing these classes, when people are coming to you wanting to learn about YouTube, like, what are the questions they ask? What are some of the most frequently asked questions? What do people want to know? Because maybe our audience has some of those same questions.
I mean, the thing I hear over and over again is, how do you find the time to do it? I had a guy come up to me at the end of my class that Dawson actually introduced me to. Plug for Dawson DIY. If you haven't watched our interview with him, so amazing. Go watch that podcast. But he came up with a friend afterwards, and he said, hey, like, I have this channel and I can't figure out like why it's not gotten to the level that you're talking about. Why isn't it making the money you're talking about? And he showed me this video. He's like, I have this video with 1 million views. And I'm like, well, you're making money then. You're monetized clearly. Like, he's like, yeah, I'm only making $500 a month. And I said, okay, how many videos are you making? And he goes, well, maybe 1 a month. And I'm like, well, I would say $500 a month for 1 video a month is a pretty good investment. And so I said to him, I was like, his name is like Weekend Warrior or something like that, Weekend Builder. I was like, I'm assuming, looking at your name, that you have a full-time job. He's like, yeah, I have a full-time job. I said, okay, do you want to do this full-time instead? He's like, yeah, if the money was there to do it. And I said, well, you have to make a decision. Like, do you want to spend your weekends? Do you want to stay up later at night? Do you want to sacrifice some of he also has a wife and a child. Like, you have to sit down as a family and decide, do we want to try to go in all this? I was like, you need to give yourself maybe 6 months to a year where you're working 2 full-time jobs. But this 1 million thing that you have sitting right here, that shows me that you make good content, that it resonates with people. And if you just see if you can make a video a week and see if you do that for 6 months straight, if you can get that kick up like I got when I decided to go full-time, because I had people watching my stuff. I'm like, well, maybe if I try to do this full-time, it'll work. Yeah. It's like, it's not a guarantee. It's a huge decision for your family. It's a lot of pressure on you. It's a lot of work, but I think you have the potential. So do you want to do it, or do you want to do it or not? And I always say, I would pray about it because I answer to a higher power. So if you have a higher power that you talk to, I would talk to that higher power about that, making big decisions like that. But I think that's the number one question I get is like, how do you find the time to do this? And I'm like, if you care about it, you will find the time. You will put the time in. You will stop watching Netflix. You will stop.
There's sacrifice involved.
Playing golf. You will not watch football for 8 hours on a Saturday or a Sunday, and you will do the work. That's what I did. I used to edit videos at 3 a.m. And I don't recommend doing that for like a long season, because you do need to take care of your body and your family too. But yeah, it's that. And if you don't have the resources to do that, you can hire it out. Or I've said to people, like, if you have a friend who's really good in editing and video, like, you split the channel. You say, hey, you own 50, I own 50. I'll do the content. You edit it, put it up. If it takes off, we got a partnership. Because a lot of the ones that I have seen successful take off are partners. One of them is the content creator and one of them is the filmer editor. Those ones take off a lot faster when you're doing it all yourself. I still look back and I really don't know how I did it. I just must have been empowered by Holy Spirit, I guess, to do it. Yeah. Because I feel really called to do it. And I think that's it too. Like, if you're just doing it to make money, it's probably going to fail. If you feel called to share what you're sharing, I think you have a better chance of it working.
So a pretty defined why.
Like, what's your why?
What's your why?
Or if you just enjoy creating content, awesome. Yeah. Like, I think I had a calling, and then I learned, and then I figured out I enjoy creating content. There's some people that just love to be in front of the camera, and they're really natural and they're really good at it. That was never me. I just had to learn how to be comfortable being myself on camera.
Yes.
And feeling very called to do something helped me become more comfortable with that.
Yeah. That's where I'm at.
I know. Y'all.
Currently.
Okay. I have to tell this story. I'm going to get sidetracked for a second, but I have been doing this, talking to cameras, for a very long time now. And so the podcast was just like, in addition to that, I'm like, great, let's get this up. I can't wait. Just totally bulldozed over the fact, just totally went over my head. Like, this is the first time Meggie is putting her face out here, putting her opinions out here, and just for like the world to see. And I forgot like what a big deal that is. And probably like 2 or 3 weeks when we were filming like our second episodes and the first episode had already come out, you were just like, I'm struggling a little bit. I'm like, why? You're great. And blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, I get it. Yeah. Like, you're putting your life out here. You're acting like, oh, I have something to say. And you're getting attacked of like, you have nothing to say. Like, why are people going to listen to you? You don't know anything. That attack of like, don't put yourself out there because you're only going to get hurt and you have nothing to share with the world. They don't need you. And I had just been through that so long ago that I forgot that is something you have to power through when you first put yourself out there.
Yes, I would say it is tough, and I'm still pushing through it, trying to overcome the negative thoughts and the self-doubt that comes along with putting yourself out on camera in the world of social media. It's also kind of letting people in at the same time to know you. It's a vulnerable kind of place. It's a very different experience for me. It hasn't been all negative. There's a lot of good that has come with it. I have enjoyed it probably way more than I ever thought that I would. So it's good, but yeah, that, and I empathize with anyone else that is their barrier to starting something like this, because I think, everybody has value and worth and something to offer. And those are the things that keep people isolated and not putting, whatever it is out there. We all have something valuable to offer. We can all learn something from each other. It's just, can you push through the negative emotions to do that? And that's where a lot of people get stuck, I think.
And you have to be realistic. You have to say, what if I never get 1 million views? What if I never, is this time going to be wasted, or do I think that this is important? And again, you don't know if you don't try. Like, I'm not guaranteeing you that you can be a full-time YouTuber, but if you don't try, then you'll never know.
You'll never know.
And I said that in my class too, and I got like the biggest laugh. I was like, every person who's successful on YouTube will tell you, just make 100 videos and get better, make a change in every video, level up something in every single video, just one thing, make 100 videos. And then if you make it to 100 videos and your channel is still not successful, I said, well, maybe you should quit. Everybody just like laughed. I'm like, but that's where we're at. Like, before you get to 100 videos though, don't come to me and say, well, what should I do differently? How do I rank this? How do I do it? It is just like, you just have to figure it out. Yeah. You have to figure out what's special about you, what resonates with people. The awesome thing about YouTube is that you have so many analytics in your YouTube studio that will show you like, this is where people dropped off. This was a dip in your viewership. They'll show you the click-through rate is down on here. So you'll know, hey, that probably wasn't a good thumbnail, or that wasn't a good topic. I had so much success on that I'm done selling furniture thing that I'm trying to figure out, how do I make another video like that is, you know, people hearing my story and how do I fit that into what I'm doing? I'm still trying to figure that out. So it's a process. Yeah, it's a long haul. If you don't want to make 100 8-minute videos, if that sounds like, no, I'm never going to do that, then probably don't start a YouTube channel. I guess would be my advice.
So for somebody who says, okay, I want to do it, I want to make the leap, I want to do this, like, what do I need to get started? Like, you know, we talk about your equipment in the class, but what would be the one thing you couldn't do YouTube without?
My advice today is different than when I started, because when I started, I just did a handy cam. I had an external mic. I put it on a ladder and I just did it. If that's where you're at and you can't spend any money on any equipment, but you have a smartphone, just film it on your smartphone, and just be close to the camera. Or you could also just go back afterwards, edit it like in an app on iMovie or something like that, and just get your earbuds or your headphones and do voiceovers with that type of microphone. That's how I started out. But if you're like, I really want to do this and I like it and whatever, and you just want to invest a little bit, get an external microphone for your phone. You can still just record everything on your phone. If you have a smartphone that can record in HD and you're already paying for that, my advice would be just get a microphone. I will link the one that I use currently, and I'll try to find a bargain option for you guys. And I would just put that external microphone or a lapel microphone, because audio is so important on YouTube.
Yeah.
It didn't used to be as important as it is now, but it's so accessible to have these external microphones. And there's a lot of bargain options that if you're not doing that external mic, people might click off of your stuff right away, because it's just like, I can't hear you, I'm turning this off. Yeah. So that would be like, if you don't have any money to invest, that I would still say get some type of external microphone, because it's going to help you out a lot. Everything else you can just wing. I used to do my projects in front of windows, because windows are great natural light. You don't have to have box lights. I have box lights now because I film in my garage and it's air conditioned, because I was able to like purchase these things as I went along the way. Now I can work the whole year round with heat and air conditioning in my garage. But I used to only be able to work in my garage and pull the things up or come inside and be in front of a window. So you just have to get creative about, you don't have to spend a ton of money to start a YouTube channel.
Right.
So that would probably be my number one thing, is external audio if you're starting today.
And we'll list all your other equipment.
Yes, I have resources, and I also have resources for, actually, because I know we didn't talk about how do you start a channel, because there's so much great information on there. There's videos that you can watch. That's how we learned. That's how we learned how to do this podcast, how to put it up on, in audio format too. There's always lots of back end things. All you have to have is a Gmail address. So if you don't have a Gmail address, get one of those. I don't know what you're doing if you don't have one, but if you don't have one, you have to have a Gmail email to start a YouTube channel. But beyond that, like, it's very easy to find all the ways to start your channel. And there's tons of tips on how to film and things like that. And
I know we mentioned Sean Cannell and Think Media, have really taught us so much about this whole process. Are there any other YouTubers that you loved that gave you good advice or taught you something?
I don't have anybody specifically, because if I ran up to a thing of like, how do I do these settings for my camera, or how do I fix my audio, I just Google it, and
same for me.
Whatever video it serves me up, I'd watch it. That's not great. Let's find another one. So just like Google, don't be afraid to ask questions of people. And like you said, any information you need on how to run audio, how to do video, how to edit is on YouTube. That's how neither of us have any experience.
No.
And we just learn every time.
Yes. And I learned from base camp of like zero. Yeah. Never edited a video, never
like
filmed.
You didn't even do iMovie things like of videos of your kids. At least we had a little bit of that.
No, never, nothing. And I'm telling you, it's possible. And I just Google every little single thing that I need help with. And there's so many resources out there. Who was it that said, I think it was Elon Musk who said, you can learn how to do almost anything now. Yeah. On the internet, on YouTube. So definitely don't neglect that YouTube as your own resource for starting a YouTube.
Yeah. Well, and we did promise that we were going to say how much YouTube has paid me in my lifetime. And
give us the details.
This is just for my content. I've been making content since 2014. I think I have 35 million views in total. Some of that might be shorts views now because they kind of mix all that together, which upsets me, but it's okay. So total, YouTube has paid me for my channel $281,000.
Wow.
It's a decent chunk of change.
Yes, it is.
And if I quit today, you guys, if I decided I'm quitting today, I'm not making any more videos, I think I could still probably make next year maybe like at least $30,000 off of my content from where it's trended.
That's incredible.
Maybe. I mean, I would still be making something. It wouldn't be nothing.
Right.
But eventually, you guys, these hero videos die off. And I'm just in a season where I did have a couple of videos. I had a video every year that was reaching millions. And I haven't had one of those in a really long time. So my money is down, but it's still money.
Still money.
And I'm not getting a check every month from, well, I am getting a check from Meta, but it's quite significantly smaller than my YouTube one. And I think I've made like $150 from TikTok in the total time that I've been on TikTok. And I have millions and millions of views on TikTok.
And I think one thing we haven't mentioned too is a new thing that has sort of rolled out recently with YouTube is Brand Connect, which is another incentive for people to get on YouTube because they really are trying to help out creators and make it more efficient and kind of a one-stop thing than ever before.
Yeah.
So talk about Brand Connect.
I just did my first Brand Connect, and Brand Connect will be offered through the YouTube partner program. So you do have to be monetized, and it gets turned on at a certain point that you have access to on your backend studio. And we just got, it came in probably like a couple of months ago, right?
Yeah.
In July. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden I got this notification, like, you have a new Brand Connect offer. I'm like, what is this? Because I have been part of it and I've never gotten an offer before. And so it was like a company that was looking for content really quickly, and it was a big name. And they were asking for licensing of the content. So they basically wanted me to make a commercial that was going to be in a video that they could then use talking about this new announcement that they had. I'm trying not to give too many details because I do sign contracts. So I'm trying to be, but it makes it really easy to just negotiate in there because it's through Brand Connect. They can see how many subscribers I have. They can see the views that I'm getting. They can see, YouTube tracks. If you have your stuff set as public, they can track, your sex, if you provide it, your location, the different kinds of things that you like, the different kinds of things that you watch. So I have a very specific media kit that YouTube builds just for my YouTube channel that we learned that people who watch me are very into hair care, which I found shocking.
Hair care and like
gardening,
bargain deals.
Deals. Yeah. So there are these things that my channel's not necessarily about, but the people that watch my channel are very interested in. So I think that is where this deal came from. And I was able to negotiate back and forth with the person, came to an agreement that was going to work for both of us. And everything is just in there. So Meggie knows, like, you're always emailing things and you got to send pictures of the stats and da-da-da. Well, everything is just contained in YouTube. So I put it up. It was public for a month. After it was public for a month, it said, oh, like, this deal is done. They have all the stats. I don't have to send them anything. They have access because I granted them access to use it for licensing. So I didn't have to send anything over to them. It was all just contained in the platform. And then YouTube, that money that I earned from that actually just went right into my AdSense. So now it's sitting in my AdSense and it'll be paid out next month. So I didn't have to provide them with a W-9. I didn't have to provide them with, all my whatever it's called, my account that they have to drop it into, or give them the PayPal and then worry about the PayPal fees and all that stuff. It was all just contained in YouTube. And then we had a second one come through, but it didn't work out for me because it was not on brand for me. And I don't do everything that comes my way. It was good money, but I was like, this makes no sense. I would never buy this product. I'm not going to promote it. And so I was just able to decline that one. But so we've had 2 come in the past 2 months. So we're very hopeful that will continue. That we'll continue to see brand deals come through the platform.
Yes, which is such a cool opportunity for creators to be able to get contacted by brands through the platform and not have to
share all the analytics.
Oh my goodness. And it gave us so much information about your audience. And like, who would have thought that they love hair care and furniture flipping and bargain deals and gardening?
We didn't know.
I mean,
we know.
It's It was so cool. But also we should talk about, for anybody who's interested in possibly doing a podcast, like the reason that we decided to record this on video and put it on YouTube is because YouTube is really getting behind video podcasts.
They're going after Spotify, y'all.
They are. And now they have created their own landing page for podcasts, a homepage for podcasts. They see a potential with AdSense revenue in podcasts together. When you do a video podcast, they automatically also put it in YouTube Music as an audio file. So they are putting a lot of effort, a lot of revenue behind podcasts. So maybe you're out there and you're interested in a certain subject that you think would be great for podcasting. This is also a great way to become a YouTube content creator and see the possibilities as a podcast too. So,
and we're still in the thick of that.
Yes,
because
we are.
I haven't seen a lot of them recommending our content, which is fine. Maybe they're still learning about who we are and whatever, but they're definitely not pushing it out to people yet. They're pushing it to our subscribers. So if you're a subscriber, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Like the fact that you hit that button for us, you guys, and that maybe you've watched more than one video, it really does mean the world to us.
Yes.
So thank you. But we're still just kind of in the thick of it of like, okay, how do they rank these and why do they push it out to certain people? And how do we do the search terms and how do we do the thumbnails and so we're just in the thick of it. We're learning every video, making adjustments as we go along. Doing our research, but also combining all of that with the things that we love, and we're just still going to talk about the things that we love.
Yeah. So there's just so many reasons.
Yeah.
To be a YouTube creator. If you're considering it, I hope that we have maybe answered some of the questions that you've had, that we can encourage you on the journey, you know. If there's more questions that we haven't answered, please put them in the comment box, because
I'm just looking at I'm looking at our notes, and it's like we didn't even go into like being authentic, the consistency. I mean, there are things that we've talked about in other podcasts, but there's just so much. I mean, it's been my life for 4 years, so we can definitely continue doing podcasts on YouTube and why we think it's so powerful and important. So anything that we didn't answer, please put those questions down, and maybe we can just do a whole Q&A podcast on YouTube.
Yeah, part 2, I think.
And if you're just nosy and just want to know more about the behind the scenes, like I think it's fascinating the way that they pay you and the analytics that you get to see and all the things.
Yeah. If you want to deep dive into analytics or even the research tab in YouTube, I know a lot of people probably aren't aware of that. We can show it. So just let us know.
Yeah.
But this is good stuff. But now we're going to transition into
our new segment, our favorite things.
Favorite things. So you go first.
Okay. So our theme for today, because we're starting to have, a little bit of a cooler morning, still getting up.
Thank you, Lord.
Into the 80s here in Nashville, Tennessee. But we wanted to talk about our fall fashion finds that we are loving. And I'm actually wearing mine. So I have my first pair of flared jeans since probably 2005, maybe. The skinny jeans got a hold of everybody and just like mesmerized us. And, we're finally hanging up those skinny jeans and we're bringing the flares back out. And what I love about flares, first of all, I have to start wearing heels again because they kind of drag a little lower on the ground, and you want to kind of, don't want to be too boxy low to the ground with your flare. But the new thing about flares is that they have raised the waistline. So I know when I was wearing flares, my butt crack was hanging out every time I was sitting. But these ones are not the case. These are from Abercrombie. Shocker. It's where my whole wardrobe is from these days. My shirt is actually from Abercrombie as well. I love a sweater tank for the fall. Nice transition piece. But these are the high-waisted vintage flare, and I'm absolutely loving them.
They look good.
And I only got them a couple weeks ago, and I think I've worn them 5 times already. And I don't really like wearing jeans a lot. And I've never worn jeans on the podcast. I usually only wear sweatpants so I can be comfortable, but I have worn these in 2 podcasts now and I'm still very comfortable. So
super comfortable.
2 enthusiastic thumbs up from me.
Awesome. Well, I am not wearing my favorite fall fashion find, because I need to film an unboxing for real, if I'm being honest.
If you're not following us on LTK, go to the LTK app and search Cypress Room and follow us along for all our fall fashion finds.
Yes. So for me, I'm a sneaker girl and I love Adidas, and I just ordered a pair of the Adidas Gazelle platforms, which I absolutely love, and honestly just picked them because I like them and I like Adidas, but I felt incredibly validated when I saw all of the fall shoe trend TikToks, and a few of them said that they were hot for fall, that Adidas Sambas are out and the Gazelle is in. So I'm going to I'll put a picture right here. Okay. So you can see what they look like. But
because they're viral on TikTok now, they're probably sold out, aren't they?
Well, they were sold out and then they came back in stock and I ordered a pair. And so maybe they're sold out again.
Okay, when we get off here, I'm going to look. So
and they come in all kinds of fun colors, but of course, I'm going to put my color here. I did the khaki with the white stripes, and they're
cute.
super, super cute. And I'm so excited to wear them and style them for fall.
Perfect.
Yes.
I love this new segment because I just learned something. So now I'm going to go look at these shoes. I didn't even know Sambas were in.
Oh my gosh, they are the hottest thing.
Is it for teenagers?
No.
It's for everybody.
Grown adults.
Oh my gosh, Sambas were the thing when I was in 6th grade.
I know. But they don't look good on everybody. No. I don't know. For me, like I need a little lift in my shoe. I'm short.
Samba is an indoor soccer shoe, isn't it?
It is.
This is so wild. I digress. But I love this segment with our favorite things. Yay.
Yes, so fun.
Okay, cool.
Well, I guess that's it for today.
We made it through a whole nother episode just talking about my favorite thing, my ride or die YouTube. So again, I hope it encouraged you guys, and let us know what you think in the comments. As always, subscribe, like, come back next time, and we'll see you next time in the Cypress Room.
Yes, we'll see you next time.